Welcome into 11 Personnel presented by Monticello Bank. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett, and we are just a few days away from watching your University of Kentucky Wildcats play in the biggest game in the SEC. That's right. This week, little old Kentucky and little old Vanderbilt, they are playing in the biggest game in the SEC. Whom stood have thunk it? Shout out to our pal Josh Pate, and shout out to Monticello Bank, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel at Monticello Bank. You know them. It's where people matter. All right? So go on, check them out. They've got 21 locations in 15 counties across Kentucky. Monticello Bank, they're just around the corner from you. And if you can't get around that corner, go to nbcbank.com. Whether you're seeking out a home equity line of credit, looking for a new house, there's one for you can be my neighbor. There's one for sale right down the street. Like it. Need a new mortgage? Monticello Bank, they'll hook you up. They're been in business for, I don't know, 125 plus years because they take care of people. Monticello Bank, it's where people matter. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, and proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel. Mr. Luckett, it's been a bit of a hectic day. And I'm still doesn't mean I'm not excited for what's to come in the days that come. But I feel like my wheels are spinning now. We finally get to sit down. We get to talk some ball. But before we talk ball, are you blinded by the light? Is Sir Pizza treating you well? We need a Sir Pizza light update.
The light is peacefully off. Still hasn't been fixed.
Okay. So they won't leave the light on you for you.
Sir Pizza, no one's in the parking lot.
Oh, sounds about right.
But lights are on. So Sir Pizza lights are on. So that's the report. We got trivia here, but no Matt Jones trivia.
Oh, so okay. So we won't overhear them through the microphone?
I don't think so. But maybe. He's talking right now. I don't know if you can hear the guy. But
I can't. So we're just going to hear exclusive Diego Pavia talk. This is going to be the Diego Pavia show for the next hour because that's all a lot of people want to talk about in this matchup, Mr. Luckett. Diego this, Diego that.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. There's two angles here. One, Vanderbilt, if they get to 10-2, they're going to have as good a shot as any to get into the dance. Two, I don't know if people realize this. Kentucky can determine who gets in the SEC championship game.
That's fascinating.
Like, there could be multiple ties. It's going to come down to it's probably going to be A&M or Bama or Georgia. A&M versus Bama or Georgia potentially if A&M handles their business against Hook'em. And basically, like, if Kentucky wins, that's going to probably give Georgia the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. If Bama wins, or if Vandy wins, it probably gives Bama the tiebreaker because when you have a three-way tie, which they would have with Ole Miss, assuming Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl, you can't do a head-to-head thing because the teams don't play each other, right?
Yeah, totally
like
makes
Ole
sense
Miss,
on how you determine a conference champion. No head-to-head.
So you would add up the wins and the losses for the SEC schedule played, and the team that had the tougher strength of the schedule, so the team that had the higher winning percentage in SEC games only, would advance. And it's setting up to be really close. And, like, this game could be the ultimate swing game. Like, Missouri, Oklahoma matters.
Yeah.
And it's this game.
Tennessee, Florida, I think matters.
Tennessee, Florida matters. But this could potentially be the swing game and who plays in Atlanta. So we've always said, Nick, in this new era, it's going to be really important for you to play meaningful football games in November.
Well, we got one.
And by golly, he did it. Mark Stoops did it.
I appreciated that it took a Ralph Russo tweet to get everybody all mad about realignment again, because the 12-team playoff would be so much easier and more fun if all these teams just were in their old leagues playing each other. It would just be a lot easier to figure everything out because everybody would be playing each other. Instead, we've got the art of unbalanced scheduling. And the Ralph Russo tweet I mentioned, it's just that Ohio State doesn't play any of the teams it's competing with at the top spot. Right? Like, their toughest Big Ten game was against Penn State. Same thing where Ole Miss doesn't play any. Like all of these teams who are vying for a conference title haven't played the other guys who are vying for a conference title. That's part of the reason why they're at the top. That's how numbers work, because you you can't beat somebody and then they're in for the conference title. But that's just the case in pretty much all of these leagues where there's like kind of three, except for the Big 12. The ACC is the one that's kind of funky, but the Big 12, it's pretty clear that that is it BYU? No, it's Utah lost to Texas Tech and BYU. So like they're pretty much cooked. That's the only one where there's clarity. Everywhere else, there's a lot of different, stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ole Miss is not. It's going to be very hard for Ole Miss to get in there. But there's actually a scenario where Texas loses or Texas beats A&M, and then we get a Bama Georgia SEC championship for the 8,000th time in 35 years.
There's parity everywhere except for when you get to your conference championship game. So we've got that down the pike, but I don't think we're here. People are here for our conference tournament championship game breakdowns. They're here to talk some ball. And let's start with just the news that came out right before we started. That's why we started a little bit later. And it's the last time we'll start a little bit later. We'll be more punctual, maybe even early. Like we might go early next week because people drive on Thanksgiving. So we might have to go like Wednesday afternoon. But regardless, last availability report of the year just dropped. And I mean, I don't have to look very far for just the big takeaways, which are the three questionables. And they're three big ones. You're starting cornerback Ryan Nichols, who it's 3 games he's missing in a row, correct? I think that's right.
That sounds right. Tennessee was the last game he played, so he's missed all the wins.
He's missed all the wins. Oh, wow. Ryan Nichols, maybe the problem? No, just kidding. But Alex Safari, he went down in that Florida game, and then Khalil Saunders. Stoops had a pretty optimistic outlook, I should say, for him on Monday. But, guys, Khalil Saunders, he's not going to get the Poop Johnson or Calvin Taylor praise because those guys had awesome raw stats. I mean, they just had a ton of sacks, right? I mean, and a ton of tackles for a lot of havoc stats. Khalil Saunders leads his team in pressures. He's graded out the highest in like run and pass. Like he is hitting all of the right boxes and playing at a high level. But this defensive line has been such a collective that he's not really adding them up. I think he might have the most TFLs on the D line, but nevertheless, this is a real group effort, and I think it's safe to say he's probably played the best amongst them all. And so having him back for this game would be huge, particularly when you're going up against an opponent where pass rush discipline is so important in this matchup. You just have to. It's so boring, Luckett, and it's so coach speaky. But man, half of being good against a guy like Diego Pavia isn't about having great moves and beating guys in your bull rush. It's like just keeping that guy bottled up and not letting him find a crease and get 12 yards on you. And so having Khalil Saunders back would be huge in that regard. All 3 of those guys are listed as questionable. That means they got a 50-50 shot from every. I would lean good, but you never know on this thing. Sometimes Friday happens, and then you're like, what the hell's going on here?
Just judging from Mark Stoops' answer and body language, I think Saunders is probably good to go, and Afari I wouldn't expect to play.
And then Nichols is sort of the wild card here, and we discussed this a little bit on the KSR Football Podcast on Monday, but they've done a lot of rotating at cornerback. And Nasir Addison was out last week, and they want to play a red shirt with him. I wonder how much of the doubtful listing is based on them wanting to redshirt him versus injured, because he cannot play in any more games if they want to keep a red shirt on him, correct?
Yeah, he's played in 4 games already. Mm-hmm. Now he could come back and play the bowl game if they get there. That doesn't count against him. But as of right now, he can't play in another game. I don't think he can sit this game, Nick, if Nichols can't go.
Yeah.
And too underrated, yeah. So just, I mean, they are defensively, they are in some trouble right now. If we're just being honest.
Yeah, and so they started Grant Grayton in the last game, but it needed fine. But it's Tennessee Tech, you know.
There were some struggles. Like when Tennessee Tech had success, they were going to attacking him in coverage.
The freshman, true freshman, which you should.
Yeah. So like if they can get it, they need nickels back. And then another concern is they don't have a backup nickel now. They just got Quashid Scott. Jansen Dunn's out. Jaden Smith's out. And Jordan Lovett was, I think, their break glass in case of emergency nickel. And he's out for the season.
Not ideal.
So I don't even know what they're doing in practice. I would like to know what they're doing in practice. Like who's getting backup nickel reps this week?
The other part is who is actually in helmet and shoulder pads on the sideline that in the secondary that can actually go out there and play, you know? It's a pretty banged up group.
Right. How they manage this is going to be interesting because when you look at Vanderbilt, the interesting part is last year, Nick, they led the SEC in run play percentage. They were top 15 nationally. This year, they're down in the 90s in run play percentage. They're 11th in the SEC. They're throwing. They become kind of a pass-first offense here. In the last two games, Diego Pavia has put on the cape.
Yeah.
He has thrown for over 300 yards. He ran for over 100 against Auburn. I think he ran for 70-plus against Texas.
That sounds right, yeah.
So they're playing a game where they have to win to get to the playoff. All hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
It means Pavia's putting the cape on. He's going to run it when he has to. They're going to let him throw it all over the place. And that's what Kentucky's going to have to face. And that's a little scary, I think, for Kentucky entering this matchup because when you look at what's really been a weakness for them, tackling the quarterback in pass defense against good passing offenses. 4 SEC offenses have gone over 9 yards per attempt against this Kentucky defense. You know, they played well here the last few weeks, but they've got in some games.
And they also played well against DJ Lagway and Ashton Daniels, who, you know, I mean, it's a little bit different than what we're going to see from a guy who not what you would say a Heisman Trophy front runner, but he's played like one of those guys who will be in the conversation, right? When College Game Day does the thing where they spin the board and they've got the giant sticks out there. Like Diego Pavia gets mentioned in all of those because he is such a fun player. He's got Vanderbilt in a stratosphere that they have never really been. And, you know, he's got some help from the pass catchers, but there isn't aside from Eli Stowers, the terrific tight end, it's not like he's out there throwing to a bunch of pros, right? Like when James Franklin had them rocking and rolling. I mean, Jordan Matthews had an SEC record for receptions. I mean, there was some talent. And hell, they lost some of that talent. Remember, was that the Mike Wright year that they had all them receivers? Or it was like Humphreys and the kid who transferred to Colorado. I guess that would have been the Mike Wright year. And the quarterback they tried to shoehorn in. Oh,
well, the Humphreys was there in 23. That was his true freshman season when they had AJ Swan.
AJ Swan. That was the quarterback's name I couldn't think of. And who was the outside that kind of sucked for Colorado last year?
Will Shepard.
How he wasn't that was a little baffling. But at least like when we watched that team and it was like, okay, this could be a very tricky game on the road. They had a lot of skill talent on the edge, and you know, Maxwell Harrison just went and picked him off 1,000 times. So that helps. Would be nice to have Maxwell Harrison for this game. They could use him in that secondary. So that gets me back to the original point we were making, Mr. Luckett. Scale of 1 to 10. Not percentage chance. Scale of 1 to 10. How concerned are you that the injuries are too much for this Kentucky defense to overcome? Where not only is it a liability for them, but after the game, we're saying, damn it, if they could have just got one more stop, you had a chance to win, but they just couldn't stop Diego Pavia on senior day.
7 to 8. That's my biggest concern in this game.
Okay. It's fair enough. Fair enough. It's up there for me, but I do think one thing, like a feather in the cap of Kentucky, is that Cedric Alexander has been pretty damn explosive for them in the running game. And when was the last time Kentucky gave up an explosive run?
Yeah, it's been more of the backup, McKalen Young. He's averaging over 9 yards per rush. But to your point, yeah, you'd have to like their chances of slowing the run down. Yeah, a big explosive run. I mean, I don't really remember one this year, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
aside
what's
from
his
Sellers getting tackled and then spinning out of it.
well, Kewan Lacey had one at the end.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
so did Chambliss when he came in the game. But other than that they really haven't given that up. So yeah, you think if you can take that away, I just don't know if you take that away, is that actually helping Vanderbilt? Because then they're just dropping back more.
Yeah.
Would you be better off just saying, hey, let's miss a couple tackles here in the box? Maybe they'll stick with this run game. It's kind of like the basketball team, you want it like sometimes it's better if their bad shooter hits a three or two early because then he'll keep chucking.
Yeah.
We call
that the severe Wheeler effect.
That'll get you some stops later in the game. Where I don't know, it's going to be, I think, just no one stopped Vanderbilt. I don't know if people realize this. Vanderbilt's number 1 in points per drive in college football.
Oh, wow. And
They're
it's
top 5.
The reason they aren't top 5 in all those categories of scoring offense, everything, is because they'll happily play 10 possession games.
Well, they're one of the slowest teams in college football. They're only averaging 61 snaps per game. And I think only a couple of Big Ten offenses move at a slower pace.
That's Rich Scangarello numbers right there.
Right. So they're playing really, really, really slow. And to your point, there is a scenario in this game, Nick, where there's not a punt, but the final score is 24-21.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get up a little bit higher than that.
No, but you get a couple turnover on downs.
Yeah. Yeah.
In there, and both teams are at 8 possessions. And maybe somebody messes up in the red zone. There's a scenario where the teams there's no punts and neither team gets out of the 20s in this game.
That scenario is true. And part of it gets to my bigger concern. Because we'll talk about it some more. We know that this Vandy defense, they'll give up some points. My bigger concern is the box that Cutter Boley has left unchecked. And he hasn't had a ton of opportunities to do it. I get it. The first 2 were his first 2 SEC starts on the road at South Carolina and on the road at Georgia. But it is plays football, will travel, right? Plays football at Kroger Field, outstanding. How well will it travel, right? How well does this offense travel? There's part of me that thinks, he's getting better every single week, but is that bad turnover in there, right? That Auburn game, credit Stoops made sure to pile all the credit he could on Boley's shoulders, even though he didn't play particularly well, for just grinding it out. But I don't think just grinding it out is really an option on Diego Pavia senior day. I think it has to be throw some darts. And the biggest part of it all too, it's just that Auburn game. It's one thing to kind of struggle and have to grit and grind it out, but there were just things from Cutter that they feel like a one-off now because he's played so well. I mean, he's completing damn near 80% of his passes. But in that game, there was some times where it's just okay, what's going on here? What's he doing here? Can't have that Cutter in Nashville Saturday, right? There's that part of my fandom that's worried that oh my God, we've got a quarterback. This is amazing, and then all of a sudden you get some of the freshman becomes a freshman again, so to speak.
Yeah, I think just the situational parts of this game, what's going to win it? red zone,
Third and fourth down.
turnovers,
Yeah.
third and fourth down, penalties, and then the middle eight. Like Vanderbilt went 14-6 in the middle eight against Auburn. If it wasn't for that, they lose the game. Now Kentucky's on a nice little middle eight run here.
Middle eight mark.
So that is a good sign. So it's like really turnovers, red zone, penalties, middle eight, in third and fourth down. That's 5. Whoever wins three or more of those is going to win the game. Like that's where this game is going to be won.
I mean,
the good thing I think for Kentucky, Vanderbilt's only forced 1 turnover in the last 3 or 4 games, and they are having all kinds of issues with their pass defense. They have a allowed touchdown to interception ratio of 19-4. Opposing quarterbacks are completing like 65, 66% of their passes. LSU had one of their best offensive games against them. Ashton Daniels threw for over 300 yards. Arch Manning threw for over 300 yards. So, like, Pavia has put on the cape the last 2 games because the defense has become defenseless in a lot of ways. Like, he's had to go and save them. Mm-hmm. And so for Kentucky, it is a good matchup. Like, you're right. The last box cutter needs to check is this one on the road, but this feels like the one.
Yeah.
This feels like a get right spot in that kind of way. So, like, Kentucky's going to score points. Vanderbilt's going to score points. This game is really going to come down to just like the situations. I talked about the concern would be Vanderbilt's just so daggum efficient on offense that gives you some pause, specifically in the third and fourth down area and in the red zone.
Their short yardage, and part of it is because Pavia just put so much stress on a defense. The end of that Missouri game, you just knew what was coming, right? Missouri's defense was bowing up as well as they possibly could have. But, all right, we need a yard or two. Diego's going to find a way. I mean, that's kind of how he rolls. I will give you some credit, though, Luckett. You and Mark are on the same page because on Stoops I believe it was Stoops' show, or I don't know. We hear him talk so much. I thought it was his radio show where he just essentially said situational football this week is like we are hammering that nail all week in practice. So, I guess Mark's been listening. Tell Adam Luckett. We got to get you on retainer?
They can't afford me. They're going to need more budget from Mitch to get me on over there. I just think this game's going to the fourth quarter, and it might be a game, Nick, where it's just whoever has the football last, will win or lose it for their team.
Yeah. Oh, and you could very well see it being So if you want to talk about the ultimate sort of wheelbarrow move, that I think it would just be the carry the Mark Stoops off on BBN's shoulders dreams. Who was Ole Miss playing earlier this year where they had to – I remember the play specifically to the tight end, and he slid so slowly. But it was kick the field goal and go up 6 or go for it and then kneel it out.
Well, that's what Vandy did against Auburn.
Yeah, but you know the move, right? Like imagining Mark Stoops doing that for the win to kind of out Diego. I mean, that would be just a monumental moment for the program. And also we kind of give Stoops a lot of hell for being stubborn. He tries things. He does, and that would be a nice little flag for him to plant in the kind of the resume he's building in this back half of the football season.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it might take something out of character like that to kind of win this game.
Yeah.
But there is some arrows, I would say, pointing in Kentucky's direction. In this 3-game winning streak, they haven't lost a turnover battle. Now they split. They pushed, and then they won against Tennessee Tech. And then offensively, they are finishing drives now. Like their red zone touchdown percentage is taking a big jump. They are, let me do the math here, 10 10 for 12 since that Texas game, since the leap.
The short yardage situation. Yeah.
The leap catastrophes.
Yeah.
When they get in the red zone, they are finishing drives. They were 3 for 3 against Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 for 2 against Tennessee, 1 for 1 against Auburn, 3 for 4 against Florida, and then the one came in kind of a scramble 2-minute type situation where Cutter Bowley fumbled, and then 4 for 5 last week against Tennessee Tech, and the one they didn't score, all the twos were in, and then they had a drop. I mean, DJ Miller dropped a touchdown pass, and honestly, the slant to Gilmore wasn't a great throw, but that probably should have been caught. So they're finishing drives when they get into the red area.
Well,
so that's good. And then Vanderbilt hasn't won the turnover margin in a few games. They're not really or they haven't forced a bunch of turnovers in the last few games. Like, there's some trends where I think arrows pointing Kentucky's way, potentially.
Well, and the other situation that you brought up earlier, or that I kept bringing up, the 3rd and 4th down, Cutter's completing damn near 70% of his passes on 3rd down. And 2 of the biggest drives of the last 2 weeks, they all included multiple 4th down conversions. That drive, I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was the drive coming out of the 3rd quarter where they had of the Florida game. They had to convert twice on 4th down, and they did the little Kendrick Law jet sweep deal, right? Like, they're hitting outsides, they're getting creative. Same thing happened a week ago where they have a drive where feels like they're kind of messing around, but Soups is like, damn it, we're going to go for it. It's 4th and 1, and they convert them both. So you're seeing not only the willingness to do it, but also the ability to execute it. And I think you're seeing the willingness because there's confidence that in these players to get the job done. And that is, man, confidence, hope, momentum, whatever you want to call it, man, it is a powerful, powerful drug. And Diego Pavia might be the most confident player in all of college football, but Kentucky right now, they are a very confident football team from the top all the way down.
I'm glad you brought that up because Kentucky in this game, they're a really scary team if you're Vanderbilt. It's a team that is, if these two teams played in September,
oh yeah,
Vanderbilt blasts Kentucky.
Right.
But the schedule is everything in college football. Like I try to emphasize all the time. It falls right in a good spot, I think, for Kentucky. Like, if you're Vanderbilt, Nick, this game is just get out and get a win.
Oh, yeah.
Set up the biggest game in program history. Yep. Set up us going to Knoxville and playing for a playoff spot. Like, this is what this week is all about. Just get out of here alive. Don't mess this up. Just get in here, get a win, and get the hell out. Like, that's really what this is all about for them. They're off kind of a strange late season bye week. The defense has been reeling. I've mentioned Pavia has had to, be superhero these last 2 games for them. And Kentucky's coming in, their team playing with a ton of confidence, have a young quarterback, and has house money in this game really in a lot of ways. And, again, they got a 3-game winning streak. They played a team you just played that it took everything for you to beat them.
Yep.
With the same personnel at home. Kentucky played that team the week before and just kind of stuffed them in a box.
Yeah.
For lack of a better phrasing. So, I do think this is a dangerous spot. You put the shoes on, if this was Kentucky. Kentucky's having this great season, 8-2. All you got to do is beat Vanderbilt and then go beat a big rival the next 2 games. You're just let's just get to the rivalry game. Can we just get there so we can have that? Can we just get there where we're sitting there at Thanksgiving where you're really oh my God, this is we could be going to the playoff if we win Saturday. But Kentucky has a chance to ruin all of that. It's just, I think it's a very dangerous game from the Vanderbilt side. Nick, I'm interested to see the crowd, in that stadium, right? If that thing is close in the 3rd quarter, you're going to, people aren't going to be able to watch. People are going to have to, just walk outside. They're not, it's going to be so nerve-wracking, I think, for them in this game that it's going to be hard to even watch it. And you're just going to be expecting bad things to happen. You're going to hear like the shrieks in the stadium when like if Kentucky like breaks a run or if it's like a 3rd and long. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just going to feel all that tension. And I think it sets well for the more game pressure Kentucky can put on Vanderbilt, I think the better they're going to be in kind of this game.
Oh man. And especially Vandy's different in that just how they're because it's just unlike any other SEC fan base. We all know it. Like we're not going to play pretend here. It's a smaller stadium. It's a big city, right? Vanderbilt football is the 10th thing on people's minds, but they've become cool for the transplants that come in, and they're a fun team to watch. And now the stakes are as high as they've ever been there. How much pressure do they legitimately feel? That's the part that's unquantifiable. But Kentucky can put them in it. I will say, though, I will give them credit. They've handled it well to this point, man. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. They found a way to be in a close game, right? It doesn't matter if the other team's quarterback gets hurt and you're at home. It's a close game. It doesn't matter if you're down by, was it 24 points in the 4th quarter? You score 3 touchdowns and make it a 3-point game. I mean, they've been in those close situations before. I'm also here to remind our fan base, too, that when you win a lot of close games, eventually that scale, it's going to tip the other way. Hey, look at how the Kansas City Chiefs doing with that one score like this year.
Not great.
Yeah.
The 500 Chiefs.
Yeah. They went from winning, I think they were like 10-0 in one-score games a year ago, go to the Super Bowl, and now they're 1-7 or something like that. I'm making up numbers, but they're losing all of their one-score games instead of winning them. So, now would be a great time for the counterbalance to just drop the other way, and Kentucky's able to pull out a big one, which I want to talk about what it would mean and how they would get there. But first, I want to tell you how you can get your tickets, and that's through Game Time, right? I know you're out there in Bowling Green, Hoptown. You're not that far away. That's an easy one-day trip. Murray, it's a little bit farther, but, I'm sure Stephen Peak, he made some trips back in the day to Nashville just for the night. Going down to First Bank Stadium. It's a shiny new stadium, real fancy. They got all the bells and whistles. They sell beer there. It'll be cold. 3:30 kickoff. The beer will be cold. Not actually cold outside. I think it's supposed to be pretty decent fall day. But going down to First Bank Stadium, and while you're on the way, download the Game Time app. Okay? So download the Game Time app. You'll see all of the available seats in the stadium to be able to get in for Diego Pavia Senior Day. And go pack this place, all right? Tickets not as easy to come by as they used to be, but you can get in for $67, and that includes all of your fees. That's what's great about Game Time. What you see is what you get. They're not going to surprise you at checkout with a bunch of crazy fees at the last minute. So go ahead, get your tickets today. Go watch the Cats and the Commodores. Use promo code Game Time. Use promo code ON3, ON3, the numeral 3 for $20 off at checkout. Terms apply. Use promo code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase at Game Time. The best place to get all of your tickets for football, basketball, comedy, music, whatever you want to see. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download the Game Time app and get your tickets today. All right, Mr. Luckett. I think my next big question for you, it sounds like a simple one, but I'm just going to leave it open-ended. Kentucky wins if blank. Just Kentucky wins if. Take out the situational stuff if blank player plays well.
It's a good one. I mean, Kentucky wins if their run game is between 150 and 200 yards. How's that?
I like that because I was kind of leaning Seth McGowan too, because as much as we want to talk about the freshman Cutter Boley versus Diego Pavia, the offense looks different when it isn't all leaning on that freshman's shoulders and he can turn around and hand the ball off and get positive yards.
We saw it against Tennessee, obviously. You didn't see it as much against Auburn, but you saw it the last two games against Florida and Tennessee Tech. The offense just looks different. It takes some pressure off of Cutter Boley and the protection when they can run the football. And I think you've seen, Nick, when they're able to lean on these defensive fronts, then that's when you start seeing the explosive runs come. Specifically, we've seen it with Dowdell consecutive weeks in the fourth quarter. And you saw it, I think, even earlier in the year against Toledo. Like, when they're able to lean on them, he can pop runs for them. So, for me, that would be it. If you can have another efficient and effective run game, because then it puts Vanderbilt in a real bind. Because then it's like, well, we've got to stop the run. And then that's when you can spit a screen out to me, and then you can potentially pop one, or you can get them
to get the K-Law big play.
Just you can hit a one-on-one down the field, or you can just sneak something past them for a big explosive in the play action. So to me, that would be it. And if you're doing that, you're kind of that's a sign that you're controlling, I think, the game. You're probably winning time of possession. You're probably creating more quality possessions than they are. And then it puts them, I think, a little bit behind the eight ball, where they're going to have to get more drop back heavy. And if you're a team, you get really drop back heavy, then you can be more turnover prone, because more bad things can happen when you throw the football and when you can't control the game that way. And that's not really how they are pass heavy, but that's not how they want to necessarily go about it. So if you're able to run the ball, like if you're able to get 150 to 200, to me it says, well, they're probably scoring points, and they would have a real good chance to win the football game. So that's what I would be. And it'd have to be more than, like, if you ran for 155 but you got 85 on one run play, that's not necessarily – it'd have to be throughout the game, where they're just kind of efficiently and effectively running the ball, getting into second and medium, third and shorts, and controlling the game, I think, that way.
While I agree with you offensively, defensively, there is a big part of me that just wants to see Queese Humphrey-Grace and David Gusta, and to see these big guys, the strength of the defense, hit Diego Pavia. Right? Like, part of me, I'm the meatball that used to play defensive end. If you got to play an option team, it was so much fun, because it was just every play I'm hitting the quarterback. Like, that's all I have to do. Like, old Bullet East would run the veer. Give me that veer, baby. I'll gladly take a chance to hit you every single play. The outside linebacker's got to take care of the running backs. I'll just keep hitting your ass all night. But my overall point being is Diego is superhero. And what happens when superheroes, when you start to see, why can't I think of when the kryptonite starts affecting him some? I haven't seen the new Superman movie. Did you watch that?
Like the one that just came out? No.
Yeah. Did you see that one?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to it eventually.
Yeah. Right. I'll get to it at some point, and I want to watch it, but I kind of like the superhero movies are fun. I kind of got my fill at Avengers, and I don't seek them out anymore. That one looks fun, but I think the part that made the Avengers good was their hero showed some vulnerabilities, like, oh, they might die. Kentucky has to be the bad guy that makes them think that the superhero might die, right? That there's some situations where Diego normally gets him out of, and Humphrey-Grace is just bull rushing offensive tackle right over Pavia's ass. Like getting to him early and getting home a couple times early. I mean, what was it? 7 sacks in that Auburn game? You don't need to sack him 7 times, but sack on the opening drive, or maybe on that middle 8 position, right? Like that's how you win the middle 8. You get a sack, and the clock runs, it's a negative play, and you're cooked. That can go a long way to not only have the doubt creep in on their sideline, but also add some fuel, add some confidence to the Kentucky sideline where it hasn't felt completely one-sided because they have generated some turnovers, but you know how that works, right? Like once one makes a big splash play, the other one does. This Kentucky team hasn't been the most turnover happy team as far as creating them. I know that Cam Dooley had a nice one last week and they got a couple the week prior, but man, getting Pavia's ass to the grass would make me feel a whole lot better about this game.
Yeah. It's just easier said than done.
Yes.
Vanderbilt's offensive line is one of the leakiest ones they've faced this season in pass protection. They've really struggled, and it's a group that's had a lot of penalties, Nick. The starting lineup has had 29 penalties through 10 games.
Yikes.
They're averaging about 3 flags a game, this offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned penalties is one of those areas. Kentucky's top 15 in least penalized teams.
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt's in like the 90s. Like flags have been an issue. Offensive line is a big reason why. They've been very leaky in protection. And you mentioned Humphrey Grace. He's actually going to go up against a former teammate. Bryce Henderson was a South Dakota transfer.
Ooh, that's
who is struggling in protection.
Oh man! Oh, what?
So but you're seeing you see the pressure numbers that they've allowed, but you don't see any sacks. Why is that?
Damn Diego.
Yeah. So part of the problem is like you do want to get pressure on him. Like that's obvious. That's key in any football game. Don't give him too much time. Get pressure. Get him off platform. Force the ball to come out when they don't want it to come out. But the problem is that's kind of when he makes his magic happen.
Yeah.
Pressure comes, he escapes. That's how they create big plays a lot of times. So, like, you do have to be really careful in your rush. Like, it's just got to be disciplined. I keep thinking about the South Carolina game where I thought Kentucky, for the most part, had a disciplined rush, and then Sellers just got out of there.
Well, and I think in a way, too, I remember early on Humphrey Grace hit Sellers, but there was definitely this guy's bigger than I thought, right? Like, when he just kind of slid off of him. It's similar with Pavia, where I always hated as a basketball center. I hated playing guys I was significantly taller than. Like, it was just, you didn't have a good feel for them, and you were expected to score over them. But that's actually kind of the hardest way to score over, like to just go over the top of them. Like, I would much rather get an angle and go by you. My overall point being, these dudes, a little guy can be tougher too because you got a smaller part to hit. The way he ducks and bends out of those, if you come in high, like he's just going to squirt free, I think we're going to have an adjustment period. I just hope that the lessons learned of the season, that they at least have the sense that when I do have my opportunity, it has to be one where I'm breaking down, I'm staying low, and I'm holding on for dear life. Because that's really half the battle, is just holding on to his ass until somebody gets over and helps you out, take him to the ground.
Yeah, he's just good. Like, it's just hard. He's just good. Like, you're honestly better that ball coming out of his hand in the pocket quickly and then rallying and tackling than him sitting back there and creating and playing off structure. It's just hard. I think the point Stoops and both Brad White have made is just he's going to make plays. We just got to make some too.
Yeah.
Can't make every play.
Stoops like it,
I believe
to like a shooter in basketball where and I'm of this opinion too in a lot of those cases where that guy's going to get his, so make sure nobody else beats you. I'm trying to think of a similar game for Kentucky in that recently, where they played some dude who was awesome, and it was like, well, make the other guys beat you. But I'm not struggling to have one immediately come to mind. I don't want to think about this year. This year sucked too bad. But hell, they kind of stopped Cooper Flagg, or at least stopped him late in the game, made him dribble off his knee. That was fun.
Yeah. Good time. Good Champions Classic memory.
Yeah. The one good Champions Classic memory from the last 10 years. I don't. Somebody keeps asking me basketball thoughts. I'm like, dude, I don't got time to be sad and mope around with basketball right now. All right, we're going to Diego Pavia's town and we're going to raise some hell. I did have an update for the people and that there is no certain update. But Luckett, it's looking like one of the tin roofs will be carrying the game. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to confirm it. But shocker, KSR is going to end up watching the basketball game in a tin roof.
Yeah, we won't have any queso. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. I kind of would prefer the DeMundrian will off Broadway, save us some dollars. But we're efforting to confirm that they'll be able to put it on Plus for us to be able to watch Oil in Maryland on Friday night. And mostly it's just like I want to watch it for a half, and then do we got any action on Friday night?
Do we have Seminoles at Wolfpack?
Ooh. I was talking about
Battle
like
of 5-5 teams in Raleigh.
Oh, love that. Raleigh. We also have it's the Rainbow Warriors and the Fighting Barry Odoms after dark. I was really hoping we were getting some American Conference action. I feel like they've been on most weeknights, but I guess it's end of the year. They don't want to have no part of that. Which, speaking of American, there was some stuff happening today, Mr. Luckett, with our friend John Summerall. A lot of stuff. One, they're in the playoff. If the playoff started today, they were the highest ranked G5 team at number 24 in the rankings. Summerall had his press conference, and it's the kind of stuff that you just love if you're a fan of that coach, where he's like, top 25 in the country. Sometimes I think we're the worst 25 in the country. Like he does that thing where he will not hesitate to dog his team publicly. And I don't know how they take it, but I know if I'm a fan, I'm loving it. I know Kentucky fans on our message board love it.
Yeah.
And then we had the fun coaching carousel aspect of it all, where there was a report that they were meeting with Summerall on Thursday. And then an hour later, it was, they're not meeting with Summerall on Thursday. Like there's like there's a lot of.
It's again, everything's a truth and a lie, like I've said. So in all of this, if you can figure out the truth and the lie, you can know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's truth and a lie. So you got to figure it out. So yeah, that's I saw him tweeting at On3 Sports, going through his position rooms for the meetings at night. So yeah.
Oh yeah. He had the rap.
He's online, no doubt about it. You might be watching right now.
the part that whenever I read Zach Albaverdi's report from Gators Online, he's a great follow if you want to keep up with all this madness down there. Great dude down there at Gators Online. When the report was specific enough to say on Thursday, I immediately was like, oh, well, this is going to be a thing. Because the folks in the search that like let's just call a spade here, right? Let's read between the lines. Somebody from the Scott Strickland party, they're seeing the stuff with Lane and it's going nowhere fast. They need to make sure that the fans are comfortable that, okay, what if Lane doesn't go wrong? Do we have a plan B? All right, here's our plan B. We're meeting with him on Thursday. Dude, you can't tell them that you're meeting with him on Thursday because then they'll just deny. Now, if you then the report gets refuted immediately. They cancel that meeting. They can always reschedule another one, but you can't say on Thursday. Look at what is this? This ain't Strickland's first coaching search. He's failed his other ones before. Like he's got to know better.
Or it's a smokescreen because they're somewhere else doing an interview with someone on Thursday. Man, Florida's not hiring a defensive coach. Like. Can't get odds at that, but if I could get odds, I would say bet at least a couple units on it.
Aren't you there's part of me that, in hell, we can talk about it. There's part of me that's there's an excitement with the coaching search, but today's stupidity made me very glad that Mark Stoops and Cutter Bowley is having some success down the stretch.
Well, we had the Kentucky basketball search, and that got pretty crazy, Nick, but it was only 4 days long.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The thing about what's going on at Florida and LSU right now.
Yeah.
It's a month.
And we're
It's a
half the
month
time you
plus
couldn't do anything.
of just nonsense and right. Like most of that time, you couldn't even do anything, but everyone wants something to happen when nothing's happening. Now, I will say this: this is when stuff happens. You get into these last 2 weeks of the season; these are when deals are done.
Mm-hmm.
But before then, stuff's not really happening, other than maybe reaching out, seeing if you're interested and whatnot. But these are when interviews are done. And like if Kiffin's going to move an interview for places, it's happening this week
Mm-hmm.
when he's on a bye week. Like this is when a lot of that stuff gets done. And so I think you're seeing more of that leak out. I'm a little surprised on the Florida side. I guess it was just so public that it's going to be Kiffin. I'm a little surprised that search is not as buttoned up.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at LSU, and I'm not surprised that Virginia Tech shook out like it did. Virginia Tech, bunch of cooks in the kitchen. LSU's got the damn governor involved, and they don't have an AD, and it's just kind of a mess. So I'm not surprised we're hearing more leak out for those. But yeah, now is the time where stuff really starts happening.
In regard to Mark Stoops, though, because that, people will hang on to some of our words quite a bit. The mindset I'm taking, Mr. Luckett, is that Kentucky keeps winning. I'm not thinking about it. And you wrote about it on KS Board today. But he loses out. It gets weird. He wins one of two. He could ultimately decide to bolt. But if he wins both, you're kind of throwing a parade for him. And in my other part, too, out of all of this, is that it's kind of a joke. But, I mean, seriously, it's been 13 years and he's finally got a quarterback. And if this guy's the truth, then why would you want to go anywhere else? I know that it's going to get hard. But if you think you can get money to build around him, then why? I mean, the stuff that people would do to have the guy at quarterback. I mean, how many coaches have the Jets fired trying to find the right quarterback? It's everything in this sport.
Yeah.
You have that?
Yeah. I think you just got to be real about it. Just use some common sense.
Yeah.
With some of this. Now, common sense doesn't always prevail in these situations.
No, you're exactly right. But like all the people who were questioning if Mark Stoops still cared or was having fun, I think those have been answered in the last few weeks, listening to him talk, seeing the way he's acted. So,
yeah, I just say let's see how the season ends and goes. Let's play these games. Let's just try to enjoy the games. Like, try to the games are going to happen. Try to enjoy them.
Yeah,
yeah.
But there's one thing I did want to hit on too, and it was something I didn't intend to listen to as much of Lane Kiffin on the teleconference. Like, I tune in for Stoops and whoever they're playing, and today I just so happened to hop on earlier than normal, and I caught the last 6 minutes or so when Kiffin was starting to get a little testy, and he said straight up, "I'm not going to comment on these other jobs," but these reporters are crafty. They're trying to find different ways to pry answers out of them. And these are people from all around the SEC. This is their one shot to get a shot to ask him a question. And initially, the way how it was phrased was basically like it was Edgar Thompson, too, the Florida beat reporter for forever, who said, wasn't this kind of inevitable in the way the calendar works out with the college football playoff? And Lane was like, yeah, like somebody wants to hire a college football playoff coach. Like, this is kind of a mess. And this is the issue with the calendar that college football has. And you brought it up, hit it over the head a bunch of times last year. They keep trying to fix it, Luckett, but I mean, because if Kiffin were to do the illogical thing, like you said, it's probably not going to happen. Common sense doesn't always prevail. But if he were to leave a team in the college football playoff to coach another school, it would completely, I don't want to say ruin the integrity of the sport, but like, what's the point of all of this? Right?
Well, when did Brian Kelly leave? Because they were kind of in the mix to make the 4-teamer when he left.
It was after the season. But, so you're talking about like maybe they could have gotten picked after conference tournament weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was. If someone would have lost conference championship weekend, they would have gotten in. I think that's how that worked.
So November
they were like 11-1.
29th. It would have been November 29th. So
yeah, he left that week. The weekend. Everyone does it.
Yeah, but it's pretty messed up. How like the stuff we're messing with right now when it comes to the calendar and all of it.
I just think sometimes we just gotta like take a step back. Like, is this guy really gonna walk away, or is Ole Miss really gonna fire this dude before they play the Egg Bowl?
No, they're not.
Like, or is he really not going to coach in a playoff game?
No.
Not only that, the damn thing's wide open. Like, the whole thing, this thing is wide open. Like, if they get hot, who knows, right? They're going to be at the bottom of the bracket probably. They're not going to have to see Indiana or Ohio State, who are going to be the top 2 seeds, or maybe, and Georgia's probably going to be up with Ohio State at the 4, with A&M at the 5, or vice versa. They're going to be the bottom, so they're going to have to, go play, I guess, I don't know, A&M or Indiana or whoever. Like, they could win it. Or not win it, but they could go, like, deep into this thing. Is he really just not going to, all right, I'm going to go coach the Gators. See y'all. And honestly, Nick, this gives teams some security.
Yeah.
Against these coaches, because you can't, like, they're not protected.
Right.
Unlike the NFL, where the coaches are protected. Like, the Cowboys can't hire Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
They have to give up an real
asset.
Draft asset to get him. You can't do that. The Cowboys can't hire they couldn't go hire Ben Johnson to be their offensive coordinator when he was with the Lions. Like, you can't, like, these orgs are protected. Where college football is not like that. You can poach. And so this is like in a weird way, this is like a protection system.
Yeah.
If you have a really good team where you won't have to lose your coach in a weird way. I just think you should use logic. If they get in the playoff and they win just one game, I think if you're Florida and LSU, I don't think you can risk sitting around waiting.
No.
Will he or won't he?
And that's the fun part of the equation too. You want to swing big? Well, if you swing too big, you strike out. I was never a big swing for the fences guy. Luckett didn't have a lot of power.
Yeah, you're a contact hitter.
Yeah,
hit and run, station to station baseball.
Yeah, I could run the bases. Big double guy. I did. It was at St. Helens, that big old field, because they play softball there. I did hit for the cycle in 4th grade because, you could hit it down first base line and it would just roll forever. So you could get it inside the Parker. Only one out of the park home run in my Little League career. Only one. But we did get one. And that feeling felt good. Felt real good. Hey, took it opposite too, right center. That's the sign of a good hitter right there.
Inside out swing.
Oh, well, before we sign off, Luckett, have you decided on if you will be predicting a Kentucky win? I think I've decided on a Kentucky cover, but I don't know if I've gotten all the way there with a Kentucky win.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to get. At the end of the day, I think this is going to come down to like late, and Pavia's got the magic.
Yeah.
But Kentucky will have their chances to win this football game. 100% believe that.
But that Diego Pavia guy, he's pretty good at winning those kind of games. So should be a fun one. 3:30 kickoff on ESPN, SEC Nation. They'll be out there early. I'm not exactly sure where, on the quad in the West End. But we'll have all that information up on KentuckySportsRadio.com. We're going to get peaked to be. I'm not going to be reporting from SEC Nation. I'll tell you that.
You didn't hear? They're doing it in an Airbnb, our backyard. We're gonna wake up and Marty and McGee are just gonna be out there hosting a radio show right there on the porch.
It would. They do need to have like some sort of bachelorette party bit, right? Like if you're that feels like low hanging fruit.
Yeah, this has to be the first year they haven't come to Kentucky for a game.
They didn't for the Ole Miss game.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because people got all mad that they went to
Missouri for Kansas.
Kansas, yeah. Which Vandy's 0-6 in those games, and
I think it's like 5-13.
Won. Yeah. There are some people who are like, and I'm a hard audience because I'm busy trying to get things done so I can go cover a football game. So I'm not locked into pregame shows. But there's some people who are like, I'll never watch game day. I only watch SEC Nation. And more power to you, but there is nothing I would need you to give me American dollars to watch Tim Tebow talk football on television.
The best thing to do with multi-view is just turn on the pregame shows. And then if they're talking about your team, put the volume on one of them. Or if there's something interesting, just switch back and forth. But most of the time, like you have it's just on. Like you're not paying super close.
Right, yeah.
That is the best way, I think, probably to consume those pregame
it's true.
shows.
When they start doing the McAfee kick or, Big Cat hops in a cold tub or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember they had, when they went to Kentucky last year, they had like a Snapchat feature type thing where they were like, what's your emoji for this game? And they would put the emoji over their face. It was like, oh, so this is what we're doing now on SEC Nation. Like, hell of a swing.
I think last week they made the Florida people put on Georgia jerseys. So they're just doing whatever bits they can. You need more props to them for trying to find something.
You got to take swings. I'll be taking a swing at that bar on Friday night though. All right, we're gonna take a couple swings.
We gotta go to Hooters and just stop in Bowling Green and go to Hooters like it's like we're going to Austin. Stop in a random city.
No.
Go to Hooters. It's like our penultimate weekend tradition. You got to go to Hooters somewhere.
Oh man, and you snuck penultimate into the show, which means that we have reached our end point. We're going to pick some games tomorrow afternoon right here on the KSR YouTube channel. A lot more content coming your way. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight on 11 Personnel. For Adam Luckett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.